from my opinion, I think they're putting this in place because they feel like they cannot control the narrative and the type of content that they want people to see. Because like let's take a real example, which is like TikTok. Like we have 12 years old, 13 years old who are on this app consuming like content that are not the right age for them, or that is too violent or like too non-appropriate. And like I feel like the government, like they are trying to control and make sure that everyone is like on the same page, and they're not learning incorrect information. So that's could be a reason why they are limiting the access to like social media apps like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and what about mental health? I know in the US and in Canada, these apps have been designed to be highly addictive, and that is what they are. And I would say not just for children, but adults are totally addicted to using their phones and devices and apps. Are you seeing this with your teenage friends? Are you seeing any mental health issues with kids using phones or apps?
Oh, yeah. So I would say like from my experience, I would say it's the the trend is kind of like downwards. Like I see some of my younger cousin and some of my friends, they're on TikTok or some other social media apps their entire day. They're just passively scrolling through things like that. And if I just observe them like 2 to 3 years before the rise of short form content and now, I can see a clear, or like not 100% clear, but like there's a difference between the way that they behave and like some of their characteristics of the traits that they have. So I would say like it's
Like what?
not
What do you notice?
sure that social media could be the cause of that, but I would say like um it could be one of the reasons why they're behaving in such way. Yeah.
And what do you notice in them? What are the character traits that you notice?
Yeah. So I noticed that they are much more impatient with whatever they're doing. Like when when they face a challenge, I feel like they are just more easy to give up and just try to go for the quick dopamine hit, because like they're used to it on like the short form content where they just, if they don't like something, they just scroll past it. And that sort of behavior is transferring to their life, like the one I just said to you. And other than that, I feel like they're just like more they're I wouldn't say like lazier, but I feel like they don't have that desire to learn something, or like that desire to create something really special. They just feel like everything is in front of them and they just passively take in this content instead of curiously exploring the world. So those two are some of the traits and some of the behavior that I've seen. And I mean like there are countless other like see like my friends are becoming more depressed nowadays. Like I feel like they are gloomy, and they the energy level is much lower than before, and the way that they talk and the sort of idea that they have in their head is much different from like just 3 to 4 years ago.
That's really insightful. You just said, and I'm noticing this too, Toan, is their curiosity is dimming because they're passively just consuming. It's like a consumption. And it's almost like turning their light down. I see that in kids. Why are you not doing this? How can you be in this situation? What's contributing to you being able to see it so clearly and not fall down this trap yourself?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I think it all started like 3 years ago after I convinced my parents to let me homeschool. Like from that moment on, I realized that I just took my entire education into my own hand. And I gotta be self-aware about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and like my everyday life. And I guess that self-awareness really taught me a lot about how to like control myself and how to not let in into like the social media apps. And like I would say like I'm not perfect, and like someday I still scroll social media, someday I still slip up. But the thing that really grabbed me back or like pulled me back on track is that I identify that I have a purpose and a reason that I want to work. And then whenever I'm like distracted like that, I just remind myself that, hey, what I'm doing right now is pointless compared to where I want to be. So like that just simple mindset shift like could like get you out of that zone and just take that first step in the right direction. And I one of the productivity tips that I learned is that the first step is always the hardest because like after you take the first step, step two, step three, step four, they're all much more easier. So yeah, I guess that answers your question.
It does, and it makes me want to put you in front of more young people, because I think young people respond to other young people, not necessarily older people. And I'm wondering, in your work supporting kids or youth to learn better, how are you helping them to find their purpose or turn up the light on their curiosity?
Wow, that's a great question. And I I do not have the answer for that. And because the way that I found the passion and the purpose for myself was that I just tried a lot of things. Like in the beginning, I was thinking about doing like Instagram theme page, doing crypto, or doing some other digital money earning side hustle like that. And like through each of those side hustle, I learned something. Like even though I probably lost like a lot of money, I learned some important lesson. And like if you just envision a chart like this with the y-axis and x-axis, in the beginning the frequency will be going up and down like this. But the more practice and the more that you do, the closer you get to where you want to be and the vision that you really feel aligned with. And from those practice, I think from I went from here to here where I just have this more clarity on what I like to do and what I don't like to do. So that's how I found my passion. And I think like some other teens they can also benefit by just doing more and trying things out. Yeah.
I would also say you surround yourself with other teenagers who are not afraid to fail, who are not afraid to experiment. Am I right in saying this?
Mm, yeah. That's part of it. But also like I surrounded myself with a lot of people who are much older than me, who are much more mature and got more experience. Because I would say like if I just surround myself with like 17 and 18 years old, like um they're good to see that I am somewhere compared to them, but like I would be missing out on the experience and like the wisdom from the older age, from the years of the older generation. So I would say a balance of both is important.
Oh my goodness, that is that's awesome. Toan, I'm curious to hear what advice or support you could give grown-ups who have teenage or young kids and who are concerned about the way they're using social media or just consuming with no purpose. What would you say to the older generations as a younger person surrounded by young people?
Yeah. So I think that this is a great topic and a great question. Because like yesterday I just did a Twitter space talking about this topic. But like this morning, I just learned about this concept, which is called the advice trap, which means that instead of giving advice for something, maybe it's better to start asking questions to understand more about the context around it. Because I could give some advice and like inside of me, I might feel good from it, but then there are definitely things that I don't understand. Like I don't know the context of the parents. I don't know if the kids enjoy it or not. And like I'm not an expert in this field or any mean. So I would say like if you want to like help the kids, I think it will really great if you like start like talking with the kid asking questions about what they truly care about and why they're using this technology. And from there, like they work together to like find a solution, find a common ground to solve this problem. And I remember another concept that I learned from Mark Manson, which is called the digital minimalism. So nowadays, like we see that we have so many technologies, so many apps on our phone. So a way to minimize that is to actually think about our philosophy when it comes to technology. So we can find this by identifying the problem that we are trying to solve. And from there, once we identify the problem that we're trying to solve, we put the technology into place to solve those problems. And I mean, like, it's just a flip in the way you think, but it can take out a lot of like the mental effort of choosing which app to keep, which app not to keep. Yeah.
I love that. It also puts the work back on the human to slow down, ask the questions, and be willing to change your mind or change your direction before you start stacking apps on top and technology. Toan, you are one inspiring human. It's such a pleasure talking to you early in the morning on Friday. Can't wait to bring you on the Brain Trust for future events. And you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hope. Thank you, everyone.